Hello guys, Sonicman 26 here, and welcome to another episode of the Sonicman Discussion Show. I will be the host for this episode as we celebrate 20 years of Cartoon Fridays. Fashionably late, June 11th, 1999 to June 11th, 2019. We'll be discussing some more cartoons this Friday. Cause Cartoon Friday. Anyway, we'll be discussing four cartoons, and we'll be discussing Cartoon Weekend. So, let's start this off by not showing, by reviewing our lineup. So we'll be talking about I Am Weasel, Billy and Mandy, Sheep in a Big City, and Courage the Cowardly Dog. So first, we're going to be talking about I Am Weasel. So, in 1997, we talked about the show last time. Cow and Chicken was born and was one of the original three cartoons. Along with it, and what aired in between the Cow and Chicken segments was a short series called I Am Weasel. I Am Weasel stars Weasel, the titular fancy know-it-all character that gets the ladies and does the everything, and Baboon, the idiot. That's all. Basic, basically, after 1997, the two shows split apart, and I Am Weasel became its own show, which means it became its own cartoon. So, yeah, basically, Baboon does a thing. Weasel does that thing much better than Baboon. Baboon get angry that Weasel will do thing better than him, and that's about it. The show's pretty funny, and I can't really explain it without you guys watching it yourself. So go, go, get out of here. Watch I Am Weasel right now. If you can watch I Am Weasel right now, get out of here. Get out of here. Stop watching and go watch I Am Weasel. No, just kidding. Please watch. Well, that was really short. Well, I mean, I Am Weasel's not really much of a cartoon. I mean, it's a really good cartoon, and you should go watch it right now after you watch this video. But it's not really explanatory. It's really easy to explain in simple terms. Okay, so now we're gonna be talking about Courage, the Cowardly Dog. Everybody knows this show, and if you don't know this show, you should die. No, just kidding. If you don't know this show, go watch it right now, or go ask somebody who you think might know this show. So basically, Courage the Cowardly Dog is a show about a dog who is called Courage, and with his owners, Eustace and Muriel, who are a wife and husband, I think, maybe, I don't know. And they own Courage, their dog, Courage. And they live in the middle of nowhere for some reason. I don't know. Don't tell me what reason they live in the middle of nowhere, because I don't know why they do. They live in the middle of nowhere. And because they live in the middle of nowhere, crazy things happen in the middle of nowhere. So there's crazy ghouls and monsters and creepy things that happen in the middle of nowhere, and nobody knows why. And this may just sound like a regular kid cartoon, but Courage the Cowardly Dog has some creepy stuff. And I could say that because I've been watching this show since I was little. There is reruns on Cartoon Network and Boomerang, if you're wondering why. I've been watching the show for a long time, and I can say there's some creepy stuff in it. While I haven't watched the show in a few years since it hasn't aired on Cartoon Network or Boomerang in a while, I can tell you that there is some freaky stuff in it. And I would tell you, if you are a faint-hearted, you probably shouldn't watch the show, cause creepy, big creepy. Yeah. So there's all these types of weird aliens and monsters that come up in the middle of nowhere, and courage. Well, actually, wait, no, that's a spoiler, never mind. A bunch of creepy monsters that come out of the middle of nowhere, and nobody knows where they come from. Apparently, monsters' hangout spot is the middle of nowhere. Then I don't want to spoil the show for you guys. I'm just gonna tell you guys to watch Courage the Cowardly Dog yourself if you haven't already seen it. It's a really good show, and it's really creepy in a really good way. Another show that's really creepy in a really good way is well, this show goes by many names, but its most common is The Grim Adventures of Billy and Mandy, or Grim and Evil as it started out in 2001. So, Grim and Evil as it started out was bas- basically two shows in one, which later did get split up, kind of like the Cow and Chicken and I Am Weasel situation. So, Grim Adventures of Billy and Mandy was about two kids named Billy and Mandy, uh, who basically meet the Grim Reaper. Yeah, that I can't explain it more than that. Who meet the Grim Reaper after him trying to take their pet hamster to the fiery pits of the underworld because Grim presumes. Dang it, that's not the right word. Because Grim thinks that their pet hamster is going to die on the pet hamster's birthday, which honestly kind of looked like it was about to die. But I probably shouldn't spoil that for you, the people who haven't watched the show yet. So yeah, after defeating after defeating Grim in a challenge of Limbo, they they get Grim as their best friend, and that's how it all started. Grim, well, I was just gonna talk about the Billy Adventures, the Grim Adventures Billy and Mandy part, but I might as well talk about the evil part of Grim and Evil, known as Evil Con Carne, the less popular part. So basically, Evil Con Carne is about this evil scientist. Wait, no, this evil dude called Hector Con Carne, who was killed in an explosion, and only his brain and stomach remain. So, his brain and stomach were basically attached to a bear, and he has two other evil dude and dudette that they do evil things. I can't really explain the show that much since I haven't seen it. I have seen Grim and Evil, but I really didn't pay attention to the evil. So now let's talk about another cartoon, which is oh yeah, Sheep in the Big City. Now I have seen Sheep in the Big City, but since I haven't seen it that much, it's gonna be hard for me to explain. So, Sheep in the Big City is basically about this sheep in the big city trying to run away from this gen- general specific dude who's trying to catch him because sheep sheep did something. I don't know. I haven't watched the show in years, so it's kind of hard for me to explain. So Sheep is running away from General Specific and his crew of lackeys because they think Sheep is an antidote to something, and they're trying to catch Sheep in the big city. Sheep was original. originally in a farm of a whole bunch of sheep, and but the farmer liked sheep. Dang it! And the farmer liked sheep the best out of all the other sheep, who probably have the same name sheep, which is probably gonna be confusing. He liked sheep the best, and I don't know why. He just did. He was very fond of sheep because he's a sheep. Yeah. So basically, that's about it. I really didn't have much to talk about the cartoon since honestly, I know these cartoons, but I don't know them very well. Besides Courage the Cowardly Dog, I know that one very well. And I Am Weasel and Billy and Mandy. Okay, I know three out of the four and a half. Well, now it's time for the big part: discussing cartoon weekend. In 1997, before the Cartoon Fridays, there was the Cartoons block. A block that was on weeknights at 10:30 that showed the original three cartoons, which were Cow and Chicken, Dexter's Laboratory, and Johnny Bravo, and later I Am Weasel in 1997. And later in that year, 1997, they made an entire block called Cartoon Weekend, which is kind of like Cartoon Fridays, but smaller, because there were less shows, and it still had the old cartoon format from 1997. So it was a year annual cartoon Weekend, and Cartoon Weekend was during 1997, 1999, and 2000. They basically shared the same premise of showing cartoons. So it's basically Cartoon Fridays, but into an entire Cartoon Weekend. So on Friday, Saturday, and then Sunday. So there's not really much for me to explain about Cartoon Weekend. Is it really is just Cartoon Fridays, but on the weekend. And also, it was year annual. Uh, Wait a minute. I still need to talk about something very important that I didn't mention. It's time to talk the full history of Cartoon Fridays. So, finally, in 1990, finally, June 11th, 1999, Cartoon Fridays was born. Fridays was a Fridays block for all of the cartoons that currently existed at the time, which were Johnny Bravo, Dexter's Laboratory, I Am Weasel, uh, Ed and Eddie, uh, Cow and Chicken, Johnny Bravo, Ed and Eddie, Dexter's Laboratory, I Am Weasel, and the Powerpuff Girls, and then Courage the Cuddly Dog and Mike Lou and Og later premiered on the block. So during the 1999 version of Cartoon Fridays, it was kind of like a game show, or well, not a game show, but a lottery show of sorts. Uh, and the cartoons were lined up in a lottery type way. I don't really know how to explain it, but you can just look up Cartoon Fridays 1999. So later into wait, I forgot to mention that throughout 1999, Cartoon Fridays and Cartoon Weekend shared the same intro, except for the Fridays version. Uh, the logo had the word Fridays in it instead of having weekend in it. So anyway, in two in 2000, Cartoon Fridays got revamped into a more notable version. The Cartoon Fridays was not live action anymore, which I forgot to mention, sorry. Was not live action hosted anymore, and was hosted by the Cartoons, which was pretty cool. Multiple cartoons throughout the 2000 portion of Cartoon Fridays hosted. For an example, Bubbles and Johnny Bravo hosted throughout that version of Cartoon Fridays. The Cartoon Fridays also got a new intro, which was the Cartoon Fridays acapella in 2000. Also, I think. Wait, did any shows premiere during? Oh yeah, also Sheep in the Big City premiered during 2000. In 2001, Cartoon Fridays stayed mostly the same, but had a more updated feel to it. Shows that premiered were Grim and Evil and Time Squad. I think those were the two shows that premiered during that time. There was also the Big Pick Weekend, which I think I discussed, but I'll discuss it even more. So, the Big Pick Weekend was basically a weekend that where Cartoon Fridays, became Cartoon Fridays weekend, and showed multiple pilots for what what could be upcoming series on or upcoming cartoons on the block, or just on Cartoon Network as a whole. The Cartoon Fridays block also had a new intro during 2001. In 2002 and 2003, the Cartoon Fridays stayed mostly the same until later in 2000. In 2003, it became Cartoon Summer Fridays, and then just the Summer Fridays. Later in 2003, later in October 2003, Cartoon Fridays block ended and turned into New Fridays, or Cartoon Network Fridays, uh, as it was later named. So that was basically all for this episode of the Cartoon Fridays 20th anniversary discussion. So, if you have anything to add to this cartoons discussion, leave it in the comments below, cause I know that I probably missed a lot of stuff in this video. So, until then, Sonicman 26 here is out. I hope that you enjoyed this premiere. Also, happy 20 years, Cartoon Fridays. I hope that you guys watched some cartoons in your lifetime. Tell me what cartoons that you watched in the comments below. Until then, Sonicman26 here is out. Cartoon Fridays, signing off.